welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hey, I wanted to make this video. I was talking with a lot of my sales friends, and Nate, I've got this person. They're really negative. They're really down in the dumps all the time. I was wondering, how do I work with them? A lot of new sales managers saying, Nate, I know this pistol I've got on my team. The beautiful thing is, well, I personally don't have any on my team, but I've talked with a lot of managers recently who do, so I thought, you know what, I'll just make a video about it, right? There must be a lot of people who are experiencing this, and it totally makes sense, right? You look at all of the news and everything, social media, it's bound to happen, right? Life, and then bad parenting. Everyone's got different parent situations. Doesn't mean they can't grow up and be amazing people, right? That's why they're on your sales team. But, you know, there's so many micro factors that go into it. So there comes a moment in every sales manager's career when they realize, hey, I don't think I'm getting paid to sell anymore. Probably by now you've realized that, or maybe some of you do, right? You do sell and manage. Kudos to you. I think that's the highest level of leadership. I really respect that, and I can't stress how awesome it is to be on the front lines with your own salespeople. Good for you. Now, but however, the main thing for your role and your job is managing people. So now you're not closing prospects, right? You're closing emotional gaps. You're closing confidence gaps, right? You're closing accountability gaps. So it's no longer the deals and the objections. It's like, I got to get these people to perform, right? And the higher you move in leadership, the less your success depends on your own talent, and the more it depends on your ability to actually influence the thinking of others. That means your greatest challenge, which isn't necessarily objections, it's people, right? And you're learning that some will be angry and some will be negative. Some will blame marketing, some will blame pricing, some will blame leads, and some will blame you. And if you don't understand leadership psychology, you'll either become emotional with them, enable them, or destroy trust by trying to force accountability. And none of those produce elite sales teams. So today we're going to discuss how world-class leaders manage negativity without becoming negative themselves, right? So let's hop in. Let's drop down part one. Go ahead and write this down. Part one. The manager's brain is different. Okay, write that down. And a lot of you new managers, you still think like salespeople, and that's the first mistake, right? You're thinking, how do I close this person, get them to like me, get them to listen to me, so I can exude my authority and make sure that they follow my commands. That is not, that is not it at all, okay? A manager actually would ask themselves, how do I build someone who can close hundreds of people over the next 5 years? And those are completely different questions, right? Your leverage has changed. Every conversation you have with a rep echoes through every prospect that speaks with that rep afterwards. If you improve one rep by 5%, you don't gain 5%. You gain 5% multiplied across every call they'll ever make, right? So you have to realize, like, leadership compounds, which means that every negative interaction compounds as well, too. So with that being said, if you don't know your people and you don't know psychology, right? One poorly handled coaching conversation can create weeks of distrust, right? And one elite coaching conversation can permanently change how someone thinks. And that's actually why leadership is psychology and not authority, which is what I was basically saying the very beginning of this module. So part two, go ahead and write this down. Anger is rarely about you, but no, it's true. Anger is not all about you, right? You have to realize human beings naturally blame the closest visible target. So if you're their manager, you're always in there. And if you're a distant manager, shame on you, man. You, especially the sales manager, you need to be up in their face 24/7. That's your job. You're like a general in an army. That's how you need to view this. I'm a general in an army, and I got to lead them and do certain things and know my people. That's how you'll be successful in sales, right? But nonetheless, when you are on the front lines with them and you're constantly coaching and managing them, you become the closest visible target. So a misquoted, it's who do you think they're going to blame? They're going to blame you, the manager. Bad leads, who do you think they're going to blame? They're going to blame you, the manager. Marketing, compensation plan, the manager. You have to realize that people externalize pain because it's psychologically easier than internalizing responsibility. So you don't necessarily have to become defensive. Just become curious, right? Like a cat. I always think of a cat, right? Got to become curious like a cat. The first thing I ask myself when someone is angry, it's not, how do I respond, or how do I put them back in their place, or how dare they disrespect me? It's actually, what unmet expectation created this emotion? Because every emotional reaction is tied to an expectation that reality failed to meet. So once you understand the expectation, you understand the anger. right? So let's drop down to part 3, emotional containment, right? Emotional containment. Guys, if the manager panics, the team panics. If the manager gossips, the team gossips. If the manager blames, the team blames, right? Leadership is emotional modeling, right? The highest value nervous system in the room often becomes the emotional baseline for everyone else. This is why elite managers never rush into emotional conversations. They slow down the room. I always say, you want to move like you're in water, right? Move like you're in water. That's the best way to do things. Let's drop down to part 4, diagnose before coaching, right? A lot of you guys, your salespeople will reach out to you, especially these negative ones and the angry people, and they want it right away. Boom, 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 boom. But what you need to do is, I call it predetermining errors before they happen. Write that down. Predetermining errors before they happen. So if you just study your salespeople closely and coach them week to week, you'll always be able to figure this out. But the ones who are not up to that level, you're not a true pro, unfortunately. But you need to get up to that level and coach them daily and listen to their calls. With that being said, they'll come at you all hostile, right? Hey, you're telling me about my numbers and what can I do to be better? You just need to take a second and diagnose before you coach, right? Okay? There's 4 profiles, right? The burned out performer, the victim, right? The high ego, low skill rep, right? The undertrained rep. So spend several minutes on each. How do I identify them? Commonly phrases they use, mistakes managers make, correct coaching strategy, how long improvement normally takes, warning signs, when to escalate. So you need to get in there and understand psychology. I can't teach you everything in one video. I mean, I have many videos where you could probably watch all the hundreds of videos that I have, and that would probably get you up to speed. But other than that, you need to start listening to psychology and read books and stuff like that. Obviously, working with people over time, you'll be able to identify and adapt, but your ability to understand psychology and stay ahead of the curve, predetermining errors before they occur. Like, I can't stress that enough, right? If you start to listen to a call and you notice that a rep the tonalities became sharper, they're more of a quicker fuse, those kinds of things. You need to let them know, hey, you sound like you're trying to force the sale on the phone right now. You're becoming... it's good to be assertive, but it's not good to be aggressive. And you'll notice a lot of reps tend to lean that way. So you want to get them out of that, right? All right, let's drop down to part 5. Hey, with these negative, angry people, something can occur at some point, right? If you don't keep them in check. And it's protecting culture, right? This should probably become, and this is what you need to realize, right? You need to realize that protecting culture is huge, okay? You have to understand that negative attitudes spread like a virus. It's like, I can't express it enough. There's people all around, right? Because what happens is they're going to call and they're going to talk to other sales reps, right? And what ends up happening right here is their attitude spreads like a cancer, okay? And what happens is something in psychology that's developed. It's called the mob mentality, right? And the angry person, because anger is such a strong emotion and negativity is as well. Well, positivity obviously always good. Light conquers dark, right? So positive sales reps, well, obviously it works both ways. Like, they'll influence and affect the negative ones with their positivity. But if you have a group of just like unled people and the negative person starts really sharing their thoughts with them, or their behavior towards other reps, like it's like they can't play well in another sandbox type of thing, then you're going to run into a situation where you got to constantly coach that person, because it's all about protecting the culture, right? And that's what you need to understand. So negative attitudes spread like viruses. Optimism spreads as well. Positivity spreads. Urgency spreads. Complacency spreads. The manager is the immune system. If the immune system ignores the infection, eventually healthy cells become infected. That's why elite managers never ignore gossip, never ignore sarcasm, never ignore excuses. Not because they're mean, because they're protecting everyone else, right? Hey, let's drop down to part 6. Hey, coaching without creating dependency. This is huge, right? Many managers accidentally make reps emotionally dependent. Every bad call, they need to darn manager. Every objection, they need to manager. Every rejection, they need a manager. Elite leaders don't create dependency. They create independent thinkers. Teach them how to analyze their own calls. Teach them frameworks instead of answers. Ask questions that force reflection. Your goal isn't to solve today's problem. It's to build tomorrow's decision maker, right? And you need to do that at the highest level. Let's go to part 7. Accountability is compassion. Look, most people misunderstand accountability. Accountability isn't punishment. It's love. It's respect. I genuinely hold people accountable. I would love to see people make over 150 to 500K a year. Whatever I can do to push them to that level, I'm all in to do that. So it's all about genuine respect and love for another person. When you hold someone accountable, you're communicating. I believe you're capable of meeting this standard, right? Low expectations are actually disrespectful. People rise to the standards leaders constantly enforce. Okay? Hey, let's go to part 8. The conversations elite managers should never avoid. Okay? A lot of you guys avoid having tough conversations, but at the end of the day, just remember that all of these tough conversations will make you a better person 10, 15, 20 years from now, especially in terms of generating revenue and building these legendary sales teams that you guys want to build, right? So, rep blaming leads, okay? Rep blaming pricing, the rep saying the company doesn't care, the rep poisoning new hires, the rep emotionally shutting down after deals, the rep becoming arrogant after success. Walk through each conversation line by line with them. Hey, I'm realizing what you're doing it's affecting it like this. Okay, this happens here, you go and do this. This happens here, you go over and do this, right? You're telling our other employees that the companies don't care and the leads suck. Every time you make a sale, you're arrogant and you say, look at the sale I got to your other teammates. I hate to tell you, man, but if you don't stop those people from acting that way, like, you're going to ruin your entire sales team. The best thing to do is just get them on the phone and hold them accountable. Hey, man, why are you telling all the other reps like that? Why are you rubbing it in their face like that, right? It's like if someone has food on their face, are you not going to tell them? If one of your sales reps starts acting in that way and behaving in that way, it's okay to just have a healthy conversation with them. Like, dude, I love you, but, like, Janet doesn't like when you do that. Okay? And we love you, so we don't want you doing it. And, dude, you don't need to get arrogant about it. Listen, your job is to help people. There's people making $1 million a year in sales, and you're going to act like you're better than people because you got one sale. Like, sometimes they micro think. Just help them macro think. It's pretty simple, right? All right, let's drop down to part 9. Okay. Hey, building psychology safety without lowering standards. This is where elite leadership lives, right? People should feel safe admitting mistakes. They should not feel safe protecting excuses. There's a critical distinction there. If people fear honesty, problems stay hidden. If people fear accountability, nothing changes, right? The best organizations create an environment where truth is rewarded and excuses are challenged. So you have to understand, if you're reactive, they'll become reactive. If you're disciplined, they'll become disciplined. If you're composed under pressure, they'll learn composure under pressure. So I hope this video was helpful for you. And listen, leadership isn't what you say during the weekly meeting, okay? Leadership is what your team copies when things go wrong. That's the standard. So you need to be top of the line. You need to be the best in the world. You need to hold yourself at a high standard. Be ruthless and relentless with yourself. And others will see that and they'll want to rise to your standard. So I hope this video helps you navigate your negative people. Listen, just coach them. Just help them and love them and care about them. I'll see you in the next one.